Hello everyone and welcome. So a couple of general tips on how to make your museum or your heritage site more interesting. This is always really fun to dive into, and there's so many different things to have a look at and to really dive into. So let's have a look at some of the most sort of general things you can approach at first, and especially in terms of your interpretation and your storytelling. Please add your own comments below. So how can you make your museum more interesting? Well, first of all, have your audience or your users in mind. How is your place user-friendly? What will people like to see? What are they curious about? Why are they coming to you? And why should they come? Use a varied range of communication tools and platforms. We all communicate differently and in many different ways, and we all find information in so many different places nowadays. And you will have, as part of your arsenal, a huge range of objects, of information, of research, of platforms, of digital platforms as well that you can use in your communication tools and as part of your communication platforms. Embrace modern technology, whatever modern technology might look like in your time and in your place. This can be really tricky, and I think lots of places still struggle a little bit with this one, because it feels a bit like the moment we've embraced some form of new modern technology, something new will have overtaken this one. And it feels a bit like we're always a little bit behind. But think about how you can incorporate for the future in terms of your communication. So what will technology look like? What is capable in your place? How can you change it and adapt it accordingly? And how can you make room for new modern technology whenever that develops? Identify your storyline and establish your own unique storytelling. Maybe you are a place with a very specific story or one specific theme and then lots of sub-stories or sub-themes. Or maybe you have many different stories that are all of them separate, and people can choose whichever one they like, and maybe they interlink somehow, or they somehow come together down the line. Whatever your specific way of telling your story is, whatever your sort of major theme is or your particular storyline, establish what is your own unique storytelling style and how that looks, because that's going to determine the entire atmosphere and also effectively why people come to you. Use graphic design, your architecture, visuals, audio, all sorts of things that might stimulate your senses in order to grab attention. So whatever works in your place or for your particular communication platform, make sure you make good use of it. Engage in conversation, so be open to people's perspectives. Encourage that interaction and participation in whatever way you can and wherever it makes sense, because that is where you also gain new perspective as a museum or heritage institution, and it's also where your audiences and your users find their own unique way of making the best use of you. Make room for exploration, for play, for games, for curiosity to be explored, to be expanded, to broaden people's horizons. That's effectively what makes you as a museum institution relevant. Whenever you can, try to incorporate news, so current events, something that happens, situations. Is there a particular political situation that may have changed that you somehow need to incorporate into your storytelling because it might impact your particular storytelling? Is there maybe a religious, a royal, whatever situation in society that might occur that you can incorporate somehow or should incorporate as part of your storytelling? Sometimes it's tiny little things that need to be added or changed, or sometimes it's actually events, discussions, webinars, and so on that you can set up in connection with your objects, your your interpretation, your stories, your themes, or perhaps in line with a current debate that might be going on. So embrace these because they're really, really good for you. Never be afraid of embracing even sometimes very heavy arguments, because that's really where you can spark curiosity, but it's also where you get a chance to add knowledge to people's perspectives as well. Looking at what makes a place interesting is always really great fun, and it's always tricky because it will always be a very individual thing and a very subjective thing, not just for a place and the atmosphere and what that place is meant to do, sort of its vision and its mission and all of that, but also according to the people working there. What is it they want to get across in the day and age they are working in? And this will change all the time. So this is always really fun to dive into. Now, please add your perspectives below because it would be great fun to hear how you have incorporated some of this. And also, if you like this video, please remember to like it and subscribe to the channel. And please do add your comments below.